here is the answer key. So what you're doing is you are actually going to be taking this test, and you and your parents will go over your grade together. I'm doing this, talking you through it, should you have any questions. So here we go. Each one of these is worth 3 points. That means this is worth 3 points, that's worth 3 points, that's worth 3 points, that's worth 3 points. Every time you have to do something, it's worth 3 points. When you're all said and done, we'll tally up and see what that's worth. Okay, the first one is simply finding x. So I'm going to combine the x's on the left side. That's negative 6x plus 7 equals 5x plus 12. Subtract 7 from both sides. And then that one goes away. Subtract 5x from both sides. I get negative 11x equals 12 minus 7, and I'm going to end up with 5. So x equals negative 5/11. Divide both sides by negative 11. And that's the end of that one. So next is this one. I need a common denominator on this problem, so I'm going to multiply everything times 6, because 6 over 6 is 1. That one is fine. It's already got a 6 times 6 over 6 times 6 over 6. What that'll do is the denominators will all be the same. And this will be 6 times 4 is 24. And minus 1x equals 6 times 2x is 12x. And plus 9 times 6 is 54. So I get 24 minus x equals 12x plus 54. So I'm going to I'm going to add x to both sides, and I get 13x on the right side. And I'm going to subtract 54 from both sides. So I'm going to get negative 30. Divide both sides by 13, and I get negative 30 over 13. Now you notice that I didn't write anything like minus 54 or plus x. Okay, I said it, but I didn't write it, because at this point you should be following what I'm doing just by saying that. Okay, next one, same type of problem. By the way, I'll circle those as answers. Anyway, so next problem is I need a common denominator. I've got a 3, a 2, a nothing, or actually I've got a 1, a 3, and a 1. So to make them all the same, I'm going to multiply this one top and bottom times 2, multiply this one top and bottom times 3, multiply this one top and bottom times 6, this one top and bottom, numerator and denominator, times 2, and this one numerator and denominator times 6. That way they all have a 6 on them, and this problem becomes 2 times 2x is 4x, minus 1 times 3x is minus 3x, plus 3 times 6 is 18, equals 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 6 times x. So that's the first step. And so I end up with 4x minus 3x plus 18 equals 10 plus 6x. So I'm going to take all the x's, put them on the left side. 4x minus 3x is x, and minus 6x. Subtract 18 from both sides, and I get 10 minus 18 is negative 8. So I get negative 5x equals negative 8, or x equals negative 8/5, or negative 8 over negative 5, or 8/5 is the answer. That's that one. Okay, next one. Given 2 points, negative 3, 5, and 3, negative 1. Pardon me for the drawing. I originally was going to use a different number, but the graph would have been a little tougher, so I changed it to make it an easier graph. So to write the equation and draw the linear equation. So this is going to be worth 6 points. Okay, write the equation is 3 points, and draw it is 3 points. Okay, so first of all, I need the slope. Slope equals rise over run. Well, to go from 5 to negative 1 is a rise of down 6. To go from negative 3 to 3 is a run of 6. So the slope is negative 1. Okay, now I know y equals something x plus something, or mx plus b. I know now the slope is -1. All I have to do is find b, and I'm there. So I'm going to pick, so here we go. I'm going to pick one of the numbers. I'm going to go ahead and pick -3 and 5 as my y and my x. That's the first one up here. -3 is x, 5 is y. So, oops, see, don't do that. -3, and that one's 5. There we go. So I get 5 equals m, which is -1, x, which is -3, plus b, or 5 equals 3 plus b. Well, 3 plus 2 is 5. So my equation is y equals -x, or -1 times x, plus 2. That's worth 3 points right there. To draw that, I'm going to make my graph. And these are going to be counted by onesies. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The y-intercept is at 2. Make a dot. The slope is -1, or -1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1, run 1, make a dot, and that is my line. It's just going to go at a 45-degree angle down. So that is worth 3 points. So total on this page, you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 points possible. Okay, next page. Page 2. Put this equation into y equals mx plus b form and draw the line. It's very similar. Going to be, again, 6 points. So this is going to be put it into form. That's 3 points. Draw the line. That's another 3 points. So first of all, I'm going to say y is on the left, so I'm going to add y to both sides. And that one will go away. I'm going to add x to both sides, and that one will go away. So I end up with 3y on the left equals 2x plus 12. Divide both sides by 3, and I get y equals 2/3 x plus 12 divided by 3. In other words, divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. That gives it 1y equals 2/3 x. 12 over 3 is 4. So this is my equation. That's 3 points. Okay, so this one looks like the biggest x. I'm going to start with 4, and then I'm going to go to 2/3. That should be pretty easy. So I'm not going to have to do anything funky with my graph. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the y, similarly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the x's. That's the y. Okay, so y-intercept's at 4. Rise 2, because the slope is 2. Run 3. 1, 2, 3. Make a dot. Connect the dots. There, that's my second 3 points. All right, next question. Use substitution to solve the system of equations. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take this first equation here, and I'm going to solve this for y, because it's all sitting by itself. If I just subtract from 3x from both sides, I get y equals -3x plus 7. So this turns into that. So now I'm going to take this y and put it in that spot. So this becomes 4x minus 2, and instead of y, I'm going to do minus 3x plus 7 equals -4. And so I'm going to use the distributive property for x. -2 times -3x is +6x. -2 times 7 is -14. 15. And that equals negative 4. I'm going to go ahead and combine these. I get 10x, add 14 to both sides, and I get 10. And I end up with x equals 1. Okay, that's one of my 2 points. When I say solve the system of equations, that means there are 2 answers. I need an x and a y. Well, I already have up here what y is equal to, so I'm going to use that equation here, y equals negative 3 times x, which is 1 plus 7, or y equals negative 3 plus 7, or y equals 4. And that is my answer. So that's that one. And that, again, the whole thing is worth 3 points. So you don't get 3 points for each one. You have to do the whole thing right. Because the idea is that this is a line, this is a line. They will cross in one spot. And that is the spot at 1 over 4 up. Next page. Question number 5, use elimination to solve. So elimination, a little bit different. So first step is you make them look right like they should above each other. In other words, with standard forms. Put the x's and the y's over. So I'm going to say this one is negative x plus 3y equals 11. All I did was just change the order. And 5x, add 2y to both sides, and subtract 4 from both sides. So now this equation becomes that one. This equation becomes that one. Now they're in standard form, x, y, and a number. You put them right above each other and you go, they're not the same. So I'm going to pick this first one and multiply top and bottom times 5. So the top and bottom, left and right times 5. So multiply that times 5, multiply this times 5, and it doesn't change the equation, just makes it bigger. So my 2 equations are going to be 5 times negative x, or negative 5x, 5 times 3 plus 15y equals 5 times 11, which is 55. And then the second equation, this one, is 5x plus 2y equals 4. So I do that so that either the x or the y is identical. And I put them right on top of each other, then I can either add them or subtract them. If I add them, negative 5x plus 5x is 0. 15y plus 2y is 17y. 55, this should be a negative 4. Negative 4. 55 plus negative 4 is 51. So y equals 51 over 17, which is just 3. So that's one of the solutions. Now I go ahead and I can put this into any one of these equations. I'm going to pick this first one here to figure out what x is. So 3y, try that, 3 times y, which is just 3, minus x equals 11, or 9 minus x equals 11. Subtract 9 from both sides, and I get negative x equals 2. That means x equals negative 2. Those are my answers. Y equals 3, x equals negative 2. That's worth 3 points. And again, even though there's 2 kind of answers and it's a long problem, you have to get them both right. Okay, next one. Use factoring or the quadratic equation to solve these. Well, this one's a simple one. What times what gives you 9, and what plus what gives you 6? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 plus 3 is 6. So that becomes my factoring. So the first one, x plus 3, and then x plus 3 equals 0. So I factored that. So I'm saying something times something equals 0. Well, what would make that 0? Well, if x equals negative 3, that would be 0. Turns out if x is negative 3, that would also be 0. That is the answer. 3 points. X equals negative 3. Just to visualize it, what that means is that over here at negative 3, that's going to be, there's only one answer. It's the bottom of the parabola. It only has one root. Okay, this one, using factoring. I'm not going to factor this one. This one's got a 2 in front. My rule is if there's a number in front of the x squared, don't do it. Use the quadratic formula. So to do that, I get negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 169. 13 times 13 is 169, minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 15. Okay, and 2 times 15 is 30. 4 times 30 is 120. So this becomes negative b plus or minus square root of, again, 169 minus 120 is 49. All of that over 2a, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. So negative 13 over 4 plus square root of 49 is 7 over 4. So that is negative 13 plus 7, which is negative 6/4 or negative 3/2. Either one of those is the correct answer. And then negative 13 over 4 minus 7/4. That's going to be negative 20 over 4, and which is negative 5. Okay, and those are my two answers. Those are my roots. Next page. Find the following, then graph it. Here's the equation. Find the roots, the symmetry line, the vertex, and the graph. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to find the roots. The roots are what times what equals 6, what plus what equals 1. So I know that 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So 3 plus negative 2 is equal to 1. So those are my roots. So I'm going to have x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0 if I factor it. So what that means is what's going to make this 0? Well, if x is equal to negative 3, that would make this 0. So 0 times something is 0. Or x is equal to 2, that would make this 0. Those are my roots. So my graph, I'm going to go ahead and draw my roots. And so this is going to be worth, if you can find the roots, that's 3 points. So this one's worth a lot. So negative 3 is a dot, and a 2 is a dot. Now, symmetry line is going to be halfway between those. So we know that they go like this. So you could just draw the symmetry line. If I look at it, 1 over this way, 1 over this way, 2 over this way, 2 over this way. And my symmetry line is going to be halfway between them. Another way to look at it is negative b over 2a is the symmetry line. Well, negative b is negative 1 over 2a, which is a is 1, so negative 1/2. Hey, looky deal Bob's there. That's the symmetry line. Okay, so that's the second 3 points. Okay, and the vertex is going to be, where's the bottom of this parabola? It's going to cross somewhere over here. It's going to cross at negative 3/2. So I'm going to take that, y equals negative 3/2, or sorry, negative 1/2 squared, plus 1/2 minus 6. Okay, so at that spot, what's y is what I'm asking. So what's negative 1/2 squared? That's 1/4 plus 1/2 minus 6. Well, I'm going to make these have a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this one top and bottom times 2. And again, multiply top and bottom times 4. And I end up with 1 plus 2 minus 24 over 4. And 1 plus 2 is 3. And 3 minus 24 is 21. So oops, Yeah, that's correct. And so this is going to be 3 minus 24 over force, which is, what's 3 minus 24? Well, that's going to be negative 21 force. Or if I do that, that's going to be negative 5 1/4. So down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. It's going to be what this looks like. This is the vertex. Okay, and then drawing it is there. I'm going to make this one 3 points, find the vertex, and then another. In this case, I'm only going to give you 1 point for graph. So this one is worth 10 points. Most of these are a little different, but we're going to make that one 10 points. Okay? Next page. Oh, almost done. All right. Next one is solve. Well, in this case, you can make them cross multiply or common denominator. I'm going to do this one kind of cross multiply. So I'm going to make this one a common denominator of 5. To do that, I'm going to multiply top and bottom times 5. So this is going to be 3x minus 10 times x plus 1 over 5 equals 3 plus 2x over 1. So if I cross multiply those, I can do it that way. I could have just said common denominator 5, common denominator 5, common denominator 5 like the others, but I'm going to do it this way. Well, 3x minus 10x, 10 times x is 10x, and negative minus 10. Okay, so this is going to be negative 7x minus 10 over 5 equals 3 plus 2x over 1. Cross multiply, that times that equals that times that. So negative 7x minus 10, that's this times this, equals 5 times 3 plus 2x. So that's going to be 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2x is 10x. So I have negative 7x minus 10 equals that. And next stage is going to be subtract 10x from both sides. I get negative 17x. So add 10 to both sides. I get 25. X equals 25 17ths. Just divide both sides by negative. That's a negative. So or negative 25 17ths or negative 25 or 17. Any one of those three is the correct answer. That's worth 3 points. That was a hard one. This one's easier. 9 times 4 cross multiply is 36 equals 2 times 6x, 12x. Divide both sides by 12, I get x equals 3. That's also worth 3 points. So not every problem is super hard. Okay, last couple problems. 80 kilometers per hour is how many miles per hour? Now you notice down here, 1.6 kilometers equals 1 mile. So I have 80 kilometers per hour times, and I want miles. So I'm going to say 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. Then the kilometers will cancel, and I'll end up with 80 times 1, which is 80, over 1.6. And that'll be miles per hour. With my calculator, do that, and it turns out to be 50 miles per hour. Answer, 3 points. Okay. If you only got to here, I'm only going to give you 2 points because you should do that with your calculator. All right, this one, 80 kilometers per hour, and I want to know how many meters per second. Well, this one's a little bit longer. So 80 kilometers per hour. So let's first of all change kilometers into meters. Well, I know that 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. So now I have meters per hour. Well, I want meters per second. So I'm going to say, well, I got hours on the bottom. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So the hours are canceled. So now I have meters per minute. I don't want minutes, but I know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. So the minutes will cancel. So I will end up with 80 times 1,000 over 60 times 60. And this will be meters per second. So I take my calculator and do the math. And I'm going to say 80 times 1,000 is 80,000 divided by 3,600. And I end up being 22.2 meters per second. That's the answer. Again, 3 points for that. If all you got to was here, 2 points. You should be able to use a calculator. So if we tally this up, this page was worth 3, 6, 9, and then 12 points. Okay, let's go back. Let's do that for each page. So note 12 points. Didn't do that for every page, so I'm going to show you. So the first page was worth 15. The second page was worth 6 plus 3. This was worth 9. Okay, the third page, this was worth 3, 6 points, 9 points. So that's also worth 9. And then the fourth page, this one was worth a big problem, and it's worth 10 points. Okay, for the symmetry line, show you here, symmetry line, the vertex, the graph, and the roots. Okay, so if I add all those up, go to the front, and I'm going to add them up, put them up here. Page 1 is 15, plus page 2 is 9, page 3 is 9, page 4 is 10, and page 5 is 12. So add those up. 15 plus 9 is, you're right, 24, plus 9 is 33, 43, 55. 55 points. Okay, so if you figure how did you do, I'm going to say I built in 10 bonus points, in other words, extra credit. So if you got it perfect, you would have 55. And so I'm going to say that if I'm going to count an A, a B, a C, etc., is that if you've got anywhere from 45 to 50, that's an A. Anything 50 plus is an A plus. Okay, anything from 40 to 44 is a B. Anything from 35 to 40, 35 to 39 is a C. And that would be how I would rate this. And I would say to pass my class in a regular school, and this was a final exam, I would say you need to be getting an A, B, or C on this. If you got less than 35, that means you didn't study. You got more work to do before you're ready for your next class, if you're taking a next class. This wouldn't be the grade I would give you on the overall whole semester, but it would be a grade I would give you on for this test. Usually the final in my class is worth maybe 20% of the whole thing. So you get a lot more credit for doing work and doing homework than you do just testing. But again, if it was coming down to it and all you had was a test, this is the score. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Have a great summer. Have fun. Make sure your parents email me with your score, and I will talk to you later. Bye.